You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Doing It for the Exposure. We're back after a lengthy holiday break and raring to go with even more art. I'm your host Mannequin Blue, and today's special group guest is black metal band Horrenda.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. What's up?
How are you guys doing today?
Grand.
First day back in work since lockdown and just delighted to get out of the house.
Yeah, lockdown is no fun.
No.
We have like lockdown. So, well, we're lockdown 2, lockdown 3. So we have two lock down, lockdown Tokyo Drift,
Son of lockdown.
Lockdown
7, and then down 8. So we got some time to go.
Hopefully there'll be an up soon. I was about to say, like, I'll be scared if any of us ended up in a lockup. So.
How do you know we're not? So this is our first group interview for anyone who's familiar with the show. We haven't had a group before, so just fair warning, expect all hell to break loose at some point. But you guys are you're like a black metal project. So do you want to tell me a little bit about what that is and what you do?
Yeah, we worship Satan and burn churches and sacrifice stuff. Now we just play like loud, heavy music, and then we all just laugh and dance together. That's pretty much the height of it. It's an excuse for us all to meet up, like hopefully once a week, and to just take the piss, really, and then occasionally play it live.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment, actually. Yeah, like it sucks because, like, you know, we wouldn't play live as often as other bands would. We try to be selective where we play and, you know, kind of put energy into doing a certain amount of shows and kind of play different places. You know, one of the hardest things you can do is kind of fall into the gap of just playing, you know, fibbers over and over and over again. No shade to fibbers, don't get me wrong.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of fibbers.
Nothing wrong with it, but you know, it's the law of diminishing returns. It's like, and this is only from experience. You play fibbers one week, you get 50 people. You play fibbers the next week, you get 20 people. You play fibbers the week after, you know, two guys are there and like, yeah, go on. You know, it's just like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Yeah. So it's just like, right, you gotta kind of be a bit selective. So even during quarantine, it's more the hanging out, the practicing and the recording that's really hitting us hard, because it's like, oh, we can't even do that, you know.
Yeah, we kind of hit our stride just before this whole COVID thing happened. So we hit our stride and then all of a sudden can't gig. A lot of the places shut down. We were to play in the UK on the weekend that, like, the lockdown really hit us for the first time. So it's just been I suppose this entire COVID thing has just been locking us away, keeping us away from gigging as much. We've tried our best to meet up and practice whenever we can, but it's been nice every single time we can.
It's just very hard to plan things, you know, like that's the thing. It's like we get it because after, like, literally lockdown, we were like, it was crazy. We were literally like, will we go, will we not go? Because it was literally that weekend before Patrick's Day, wasn't it? Yeah, it was
literally right before Paddy's Day.
And we were like, will we go? Will we just go anyway? And literally on the day, it was like, no. And then the next day, national lockdown hit, and we're like, right, we're so glad we didn't. That turns out everyone who played the gig got COVID-19 as well.
Oh,
so
no.
It's just like, yeah, including the big headliner band, they all got COVID-19. So we were like, right, we kind of dodged a bullet there, lads, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it sucks because you can't plan out for anything. We tried to do, you know, whenever we were lucky that we were able to do the video and we had the album ready to go. We've done some demos, but outside of that, you can have general ideas of what's going on, but you can't be like, oh, in 2 weeks we're going to do this, because it's like, yeah, 2 weeks might not happen.
Yeah, and that in getting the video done was a miracle in itself. That changed. We were supposed to shoot on location and we had all these plans and we had to just change everything. And
Yeah.
we had another secret project we still can't talk about that might happen that we were supposed to do before the second lockdown hit, and that's just like big kick in the arse.
Yeah, like we're lucky that we found Angel, who is an angel. He absolutely is. You know, to work with, like literally our last gig really was actually a pretty big gig before lockdown. It was the Metal to the Masses, and that's where we met Angel, and it was from Cosmopolis, and it was like, oh man, you know, we should work together. And then we had it all set up, and then COVID-19 obviously was a thing. So like we have some projects in the work which we're trying to do, but it's a case of you book something, lockdown, you set something up, lockdown. So it's just like, right, next time you get a bit of a run of it, we might be able to get it out, but it's so up in the air. It's so hard to do. Like,
yeah, and with the like pure apathy that comes from being stuck in your house so much, even when it comes to recording at home, just not ours for the most part. And then when I get around to it, it's just a slog. But realistically, we've always been a band who are just, oh, let's just hang out and play together, because unlike a lot of bands, we genuinely actually just like spending time with each other. There's none of this, we live to play live. It's very much just like, oh, we live just to get in the room on a Monday, eat a load of food and talk shite, and occasionally play some music. That's realistically what we do.
Jamini, man, Jamini.
Jamini, yeah. But like that's one thing that kind of made the road a lot easier. You know, like you hear stuff of playing, and like playing shows is great, but the 6 hours up and then the 4 hours back, or the time we played Waterford where we didn't sleep and we just came back on the first bus, and then we left Dublin 11 a.m. or something like that on the Friday, and we didn't get home until like, you know, 8 o'clock on the Saturday, or 8 o'clock a.m. on the Saturday or the Sunday.
And we all went to work.
It was just like, and we all went to work, and there was no shower or anything like that until you finished. It was like, right, that's the other side of it. And to have a group of guys that you like to just hang out with, and that you're just like, right, we're just gonna do this, is rare. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, yeah, loads of bands like playing live. We like playing live too, but it's more that we just like to hang out and play music, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it, you know.
Well, we always joke that the best part of our show is the bus ride back, where we're all just knackered and
makeup smeared across everything. There's just makeup everywhere. Cuts and bruises. We're too drunk. We've got like terrible food in our lap.
There's one.
We're drag queens because we haven't wiped off our makeup fully. Like, we've gotten almost refused from places because of the makeup.
That's true.
Yeah.
Random bits of blood as well. Like, that's what I've noticed since Mark joined the band. There's more blood on things. It's like afterwards, you're like, where did that come from? I don't know. Mark's like, oh, look at my guitar. It's like, why are you bleeding, Mark?
That's why you
I won't get that.
That's true.
Exactly. It's very transparent. You can see everything. The whole dirt, blood, everything.
I'm still finding dirt on myself since the music video. Like, literally.
After this is done, I'll send you the picture. There's still makeup on my base. Like,
oh man,
I mean, that's like a year old. That's
same. Like, but, my guitar is still just covered in, because you know, like usually you'd clean it, you know, because you're usually cleaning it for the show or something like that. But with this, you're just like, no, it's grand. So I'm just like, when we do go back to shows, it's like, oh man, that's gonna. It's like I'm glad I cleaned all the stage clothes and stuff like that, because you wouldn't, because you just imagine this absolute smell of them there. Like, actually, I don't know where the hood is that we used in our last show. Yeah.
not to cut across you, because this is all solid gold, but just speaking of the music video, do you guys want to talk about that? Because I know that you came out with a video a few months ago, wasn't it?
October released it.
Was it October? Yeah, it was October.
It's October, yeah.
We're losing so much of the year. It feels like yesterday.
I felt like it was like back in like June or something like that. It's because I feel like it's been out for ages.
Yeah,
it's one of the like 4 things any of us have done all year. Yeah, that was like the easiest process in the world. Angel did all the work from Cosmopolis. Palace, is it?
Cosmopolis, yeah.
Yeah, he's just just the best. He got Emma. He did it all. We just shot it in our rehearsal spot, and then you went up to the Wicklow Mountains, wasn't it? And
yeah, he picked up me and Emma and just drove us straight up to the Wicklow Mountains, found a spot, and then just straight into work. You know, because his vision for stuff, I've noticed he's very direct with the way he wants things to go, and he's very good at like on the spot fixing randomly, like oh I know how to improve this now, and then just going with the flow. So I think that was really helpful with all the COVID stuff going on around us, the way that like we had spent so much time planning the video that by the time it actually came to the small window where we could record the video, even if something popped up, it was so easy for him to go, okay, that first day of live performance recording, let's just redo it all because I think I could do it better. So let's just do it. You're all free on Saturday. Let's all go in on Saturday, go in, set up, done. But by the time the whole video was shot, it was so quick and it was so like on point. There was no like negative side of the experience, other than they buried me in dirt and I didn't quite enjoy that.
That was so much fun. We didn't have to do any of that. And the teriyaki blood, that stuff was vile. You had to take a big spoonful of it.
Oh, that was rotten.
Yeah.
Aaron vomited and we didn't use the footage. It was funny.
Yeah.
He got sick everywhere.
I do remember one scene where myself and Darryl would be up in front and Emma would be beside us, and then Keith and Jay would carry Aaron to the front, and then in the background it'd be like country music that Jay would play. We tried to hold our laughter in while we film it.
Yeah, Jay was listening to a load of Willie Nelson, and what was it, Big Red? Is the trucker? He got on like our drummer got on like this huge country kick, especially like trucker country, specifically trucker music, and that's all we were listening to in the rehearsal spot while trying to film this big ritual scene.
Really getting in the mood for the heavy metal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. It got me into like proper mood. Kept everything light and easy. Because as Keith said, the fake blood in the video was like he had mixed some sort of really sugary syrup and something else and red dye, and I had to, me and Emma, the girl who plays Morgan in the video, we both had to drink it. Now she only had to take a sip of it, all right, whereas with me, as you could see in the video, they had to hold my mouth open and just pour it in.
I feel bad for doing that.
That little goblet was like filled with the shit. It was, I think it probably felt a lot longer for me than it actually was. So for about 5 seconds, they had to just shove it into my mouth. And at one point, I think that one of the lads started to hold back. And I was like, no, just finish the scene. But I'm choking on all this bitter, sugary, horrible syrup that tastes like teriyaki sauce. That as soon as Angel yelled cut, I just fell back into the dirt and it just started coming back up again. It was so sweet and horrible. And all the lads did was laugh.
I had it.
That's because it was really, really funny.
I don't think it could have been that bad. I had some of that with the communion and it was fine.
There was so much of it. And you know when you put when you eat too many sweets and your tongue and your mouth go super like dry and stuff like that? I just
yes.
It was like that going down my throat, and it was so thick that because also, I wasn't, because you were pouring it directly into my mouth, it was just like it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. Also, Angel didn't tell you your fake blood had like coffee grounds and a little bit of dirt in it as well to make it lumpy. So
what?
That's why he clean blood, because it only had to drip down her mouth, whereas you want to get like blood clots and stuff in your ones that had coffee grounds.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. Is that why you had 2 tubs of the shit?
It is, yeah.
I didn't notice. This is hilarious.
Yeah,
No,
that's
this
the
is
first time I
all.
heard it.
Yeah, because when I went to taste it, he whispered to me, "Don't eat Aaron's one because it's gross."
Like a
Ah,
Stanley Kubrick moment. Fuck him. I'll remember that next time. Jesus.
Oh no, which was worse for you, Aaron? Being buried or the taste of
Oh,
the
the
thing?
buried by far, because I'm quite claustrophobic. Like the first one was quite bad. Where this time we shot we just poured the dirt on top of me on like a black canvas or a black sheet, plastic sheet, and the lads just poured it over my face and like patted it down, and I'm trying to hold my breath under the dirt to not like inhale all this like super dry compost. And when we look back over the footage, it didn't really work because it would start to burn my face and stuff like that. So the next time he came in and he cut off one side of a cardboard box, so that I could like push the top half of my body into it, so that I was in the box and you could just see from like my ribs up, and then they poured the dirt in on top of me. That way that they could like distribute the dirt around my head, and then the dirt they would put up on top of my face, there was nowhere for it to fall. So that actually felt like I was being buried alive, despite the fact that half my body was still out in the open. It's just all this dirt and pressure. And then gradually throughout the video, the guys had to throw dirt in my face and all this stuff. And then I had to try and sing through it. So it's just all this dirt going up my nose and in my ears and into my mouth. Kind of like there's a scene in the Lighthouse where Willem Dafoe is being buried alive and he's talking. And as he's talking, his mouth is just being filled with all this muck and dirt. It was exactly like that. I was picking dirt out of my ears and nose for like about a month afterwards. Just like, where the fuck did that come from? It was rotten, but it looks great in the video. So I'm thinking now it's just going to become like a Horrenda thing, that in every music video we do, we have to do something really horrible to me.
I'm cool with this. Like that sounds good.
I think that's a good plan, Aaron.
Yeah.
just called it.
But I have to think of something like inventive for the next one. Like maybe we could set them on fire. Or, like I watched The Devils recently. You can like shave my head in the video, and
that sounds fun.
Devil's such a good movie.
You can throw an alligator at me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It was funny. Like doing a video in this time was strange. Like we were lucky that we have our own rehearsal space and we were able to actually like do it there. Because if we didn't have that, we just wouldn't have been able to. But like, you know, none of us got COVID, so that was good. But we were all, you know, we took precautions. We weren't stupid about it. But it's like, wow, that was kind of lucky to be able to, like, the stars kind of aligned in that way where we're like, right, quick, do it in this day. But it was kind of funny because like there were still bands practicing and like Emma was walking around in her full Morrigan regalia. And it's just like, it's so funny. It's like, you can just imagine what the bands were thinking, going, what the hell is going on in there?
Like they were freaking out. Some of the biggest bands in the country. I think it was like the lads from Girl Band saw her and were just like, hi. Like, they were just like, what the fuck is going on in here? And then all of a sudden, we're going down to use the bathroom to fix our paint and all this stuff throughout the day, you know, and all these, like, I'm pretty sure guys from like Murder Capital and Fontaines and everything saw us walking by and we're just like, what the fuck is going on upstairs?
Girl band asked Jay if he was in a car crash.
That's true, yeah.
Oh my god.
To be fair, like when I walked in, because I was working, because we had to shoot, we shot one day and then we're like, oh, grand. And then we did a thing with the symbols, the actual little totems that we had, and we're like, oh no, we'll shoot again. It was fine, but when I walked in, that's when we shot all of Emma's stuff as well, because she was there with us, and it was pretty freaky. Like, to be fair, to be in there with a room with her, like the way she was doing it was terrifying.
We just had the door ready to run out.
Absolutely, because it's like she's really good. Like the way she commits to everything is super. Although Katie, it's very much like what you do as well with some of the shoots I've seen you in. It's pretty scary. I imagine being in the room at the same time, but yeah, man, it was just kind of it was cool to see, you know, to work with, you know, obviously Angel, an artist himself, but then work with Emma, who is like a master craftswoman as well. So it was really cool experience, because we hadn't really done that yet, you know, where it was like obviously making the album is one thing, but then making a video with people that aren't us is something else, you know?
Yeah, Emma was like all props to Emma. She just like came in and killed it and was great crack the whole time as well. Like
She did all of her makeup as well.
Yeah.
She did all of her makeup in, like, because I remember even when we went up to the Wicklow Mountains, she just brought up a little makeup mirror. That was it. She did all of her makeup up in the mountains just using that thing. And I was just like, that's really fucking impressive. And then she was able to recreate it like exactly spot on when we then recorded her in the rehearsal space. Fair play to her just for like even like helping us out with, you know, the fucking depraved sort of shit that we got up to in the video and being who we are and everything. So yeah.
I think the thing that freaked her out most was when Jay kept putting on country music as we were filming.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is going on here? What have I signed up to?
When Jay turned on Garth Brooks at one point, and that was the moment where she just went, what the fuck is this? Really? And it's just like, yeah,
to Warner earlier.
This is what we listened to during practice. Great experience. And it was as well, I think the day we finished the final recording of the band with Emma and everything, I think it was only like a couple of days after that we went back into lockdown.
Yeah, it was really tight. It was like we were, you know, we just got it done. It was like, right, we had no time for pickups. So it took, because then we sat on it for a while and we're like, right, we'll aim this out. We were able to get the live stream done with Mark and Angel, but we were like, I think we went into lockdown then again after that, like 4 or 5 days later, wasn't it, Mark? Something really tight like that as well.
I think it was like 2-3 days after our live stream, and that was our first live stream that they've done as well.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's been very tough. Like I can only, like, we were lucky in the sense that we had a bunch of the infrastructure put in place to be able to do stuff, but like a lot of bands obviously aren't in that position, or they didn't set themselves up in that way, or, you know, it's I can only imagine what it's like for other artists, you know, that this is their job, you know, or something like that. Like for us, it's a hobby. We love to do it and stuff like that, but it's not our job. We're just kind of, you know, we appreciate the support, and lots of people have supported us with our merch and stuff. But yeah, man, it's not easy. It really isn't, you know.
And just speaking of, because you mentioned merch and all of that, where is the best place for people to follow you guys and buy your lovely merch and everything?
All of our merch at the minute is on our Bandcamp, but Dara is in the process of setting up our big cartel, and we actually there's a fresh exclusive for you. We have a new design coming, so you can expect to see stuff in the next month or two.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so was it it's just Horrenda Air, like EIRE on Bandcamp. Everything's there. It's all reasonably priced, and it's going to lovely lads like us. So please support us if you can. We've got t-shirts, tapes. Don't buy the tapes. Dara has to make them, and they're a pain in the hole. But CDs and t-shirts are grand.
They are a massive pain in the hole. But to be fair, people like them, so it's just like, okay. But, you know, for anyone who doesn't know how tapes are made, you literally sit there, hit play, hit record, and wait for the tape to finish.
Dara's heard music more than any of us.
Yeah, all the tapes are made by hand, and you can't automate it either. So it's like, we appreciate it. It's always cool when people buy the tapes, but it's like, it's funny. It always comes in waves. No one buys like one tape. They always buy 6 or 7, and you're like, well, that's my day. But, you know, it is what it is. But like, yeah, if anyone, like, we, you know, as Keith said, we have an exclusive. We have a new design coming out. Hoodies are coming soon, which is going to be pretty cool. Just keep an eye on our social media, because we're going to drop the big cartel soon. I basically have to build out an entire back end for that, but it's on its way.
And can people buy the album there as well?
Yeah, like the cool thing about it is, like, the big cartel is going to be for physical merch, just because of the way it works. We'll probably do a bundle in there. We have a t-shirt and a CD bundle, but the best place right now is Bandcamp. So if you go to our Bandcamp, it's all there as well.
Brilliant. And I know that Keith, I think it was Keith that mentioned that you guys have a couple of secret projects in the works, but is there anything that you have coming up that kind of you're allowed to talk about?
Besides the hoodie, not really. Everything is so up in the air that it's hush hush. And I know that's the worst thing when, like, a band who's got like 5 followers on Instagram or something just put up big things coming soon, but there was supposed to be something really cool and big coming up.
Yeah,
and,
like not. Yeah,
they can't do it.
In this case, the actual meme is true. Like we literally had this big thing ready to go, and it was like lockdown
That weekend.
Yeah,
Again.
yeah. It's a pain. So we're trying to get that done, but we're also working like if we can do it. See, this is the problem. Like you don't just think, oh, you can do this one thing. It's like you still have to get music recorded properly. You still have to then get it mixed and mastered. You still have to be in the room, and then the rest. So we're still trying to push ahead with certain things, but we're limited by the fact that recording studios, by its definition, aren't very good for social distancing, and also we can't leave more than 5k. So it's like, where do we go? You know, it's that's the kind of thing. Like trying to plan that ahead is very difficult. So yeah, look, big things are coming, but it all depends on lockdown being lifted. It really does.
So everybody mask up
And
for the artists.
I live in
For sure.
getting together isn't really an option at the minute. And when it comes like we can record and track at home fine, but the way we typically write stuff is a huge like process of elimination. Like if you come into the rehearsal spot with a song, it's going to be a different song by the end of it, where we just strip stuff out, change everything. It's about anything in this band, because we'll just go, nah, that's shy, get rid of it.
Absolutely. Like it's
so like it wouldn't be really a Horrenda record if it wasn't all of us in the room, excluding the first probably 5 releases from Horrenda where it was all there. But you know, the sentiment's there. If it isn't all of us in the room changing and coming up with stuff, really doesn't sound the same or feel the same. At least that's my completely biased opinion.
I'm
like
totally on that side as well, to be honest. I would totally agree with that.
Like we have tried to do the more at home thing where we would do drums and then kind of track to that, but what ends up happening then is it loses that kind of feel to it. So it's kind of more trying to figure out a way to demo, and we are working on, like, in all transparency, we have 2 demos done. Like, we wouldn't release them because it's not what we want. It's not what we kind of want to put out there. So it's like we obviously released a split, and that's kind of what From Home would sound like, right? So it's fine for that, but as a follow-up to the Altus, it's not what we want to do. So it's more a case of, right, well, let's see what happens in a while. But in that, we haven't stopped doing things. It's kind of like, right, well, we have the merch coming, we have the other thing that we talked about that we're not allowed to talk about, and another couple of things that we're trying to do. But it's readjusting that, you know, going from being a live band, or even say that is a live focused thing, you know, as a band, to moving towards, well, how do you do that when you can't be around people? And that's kind of what we're trying to do. Yeah,
trying to like make a computer drums sound anything like what Jay's doing is
impossible.
It's pointless. Like he's just like he's his own, like, he's his own thing. He's just like, I don't know what he's doing. None of us really do. And then I don't even think he does, but it works.
It's a freaking jazz machine, man.
Yeah, and also the whole recording from home, like, especially after releasing the Altus, where we did we did the sacrilegious thing for blackmail, and we went with good production value, going straight back to just doing it all ourselves. It doesn't really the way I don't think any of us see the band going. Like,
yeah,
we like things that sound well made and like take pride in it.
Yeah, it's a massive step back, I think, and it's like, because I know some people have been like, "Oh, just release stuff anyway," and you're like, it doesn't work for what we want to do. As I said, like, if we were kind of going for more of if you're going for that style, great. Or if we, you know, the band just doesn't work like that anymore. So it's very difficult to kind of do that. It's just a case of, we just got to kind of be more disciplined in ourselves and be like, right, we just got to control what we can control, and then, you know, make hay while the sun is there, and hopefully that will come out soon. So, you know, the next gap, I think we're going to desperately sprint to get something recorded, and then kind of go again until, because that's all you can do. And my advice to any bands listening or any performers is like, look, when you have that break, fucking use it, because you don't know if it's going to be gone or not in a week or two. And that's kind of our plan as well. It's like, as soon as stuff's launched, straight in, record, bang, bam, 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 and then sit on it again, because that's basically all you can do, or else you don't know. You can't plan, oh, we'll do it next week, because next week might be there.
Like, I suppose the positive about all this is that, like, with all the stuff we've been doing, even despite the you know, the fact we can't talk about a lot of the secret stuff we have going on in the background, the overall kind of plan here is that once COVID-19 eventually goes away, we'll just hit the ground running again.
Yeah, basically that's the idea, is just take advantage of our opportunity to play together when we can. We know that, like, a lot of people are doing great things in lockdown and stuff, but at least from the way I look at this band, it's much more of like a social thing. That's the goal, to get back in the room and get back to making noise and talking about movies in person.
Yeah.
Pissing off our neighbours as well.
Yeah.
We are the loudest band by a country mile when we do jam.
Yeah, everyone else is like, when we start practicing, like, you'll just hear the next band in the next room getting louder and louder.
It's like Run DMC and Aerosmith.
Exactly. That's it.
Literally.
Monkey are going to come through the wall and we'll start doing a crossover. It's going to be class.
By the way, shout out to Monkey. They're a great bunch of lads.
Yeah, definitely.
So just before we wrap things up, is there anything that you guys would love to talk about that we didn't touch on?
Please buy our merch.
Yeah.
Please. It'll look good on you. We swear. It'll look on everybody.
Yeah, I slave over it and get to wear it forever.
Fun fact, Keith actually does make the merch. So, yeah.
Talk about DIY bands. Woo!
Yeah. So if you get a tape or a CD, it's from me. If you get anything else, it's from Keith.
Yeah, so that's also why if you order a CD, but during lockdown, it's going to come in 2 packages, because Dara has to send one out and I have to send one out, because we haven't had a chance to like exchange CDs and tapes yet.
That's how crazy this year has been. We have to have adjusted like literally how we send merch, because we don't have it in one place, because we haven't been able to meet up. It's wild.
So everybody buy merch, buy hundreds of tapes, keep Dara busy.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Finally, Dara gets tortured for once.
So guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and it's been great just kind of sitting back and listening to the dynamic.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate being the first group guest.
Yeah, and the first one back in 2021, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that too.
Oh,
that too.
awesome. So we were the first people to wreck heads. Awesome.
No, it's been awesome, honestly. Thanks so much for coming on. Oh, I should have you guys on again. I just had to sit here and laugh.
Yeah, gladly come back. Like we absolutely take any opportunity just to talk shite.
For sure.
All right. So if you enjoyed this episode of Doing It for the Exposure and would like to hear more in the future, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at DIFTE Podcast. You can also check out our stream on nerdtoknowmedia.com. We now stream bi-weekly on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.